2023 Ford Ranger vs Toyota HiLux Comparison Review, Off-Road and On-Road. Australia's favorite 4x4.s go head-to-head. The 2023 Ford Ranger arrives at a time when the previous model was still one of the leading vehicles in the midsize 4x4 UTA category. Ford's Ranger has been in an arm wrestle with the venerable Toyota HiLux for the title of not only Australia's favorite 4x4 vehicles but the top-selling model in the county overall for the past few years, and this next-gen Ranger is Ford's latest salvo in the battle. Not only is the latest Ranger almost all new, but its trump card is the inclusion of a V6 diesel engine. The 4x4 UTA category is mostly powered by four-cylinder diesel engines, and the introduction of the new V6 mill is akin to bringing bazooka to a gunfight. Also bolstering Ford's armory is a new model in the range. The Ranger Sport slips into the lineup between the popular XLT model and the top of the range Wildtrak to give UTA buyers another choice in style and equipment levels. We've got a Ranger Sport with the V6 diesel engine, which sells for $66,690 plus ORC, and pitted it against the popular HiLux SR5 which, when fitted with the premium package that gives it leather-trimmed seats, sells for $63,320 plus ORC. You might say the $3,300 price difference puts the new Ford at a disadvantage to the Toyota. But when you consider that the Ranger Sport is available with either the carried-over i4 biturbo diesel engine or the V6 diesel, which is a $3,000 extra, the two models are close to on par in everything bar the powertrains. Using the respective manufacturers' online configurators, the HiLux as tested would be a $68,477 drive-away price in Melbourne, while the Ranger Sport as tested would be $73,261 drive-away. Ford Ranger Sport V6. The 2023 Ranger is just about all new from the ground up. The central body structure, including the cabin, door openings, and glasshouse, are close to the same as the old Ranger with a few tweaks, while everything else, including the chassis, sheet metal, interior, powertrains, cargo tub, and suspension, are either new or heavily revised. As mentioned, the i4 engine is carried over as well, but we're driving the V6 here. So it's fair to call the new Ranger all new, and everything Ford has done in updating the Ranger has been done to improve what was already an award-winning package, with many of the changes based on customer and user feedback. Powertrain and performance. Ford pulled its 3.0-liter Lion V6 engine out of retirement for the latest Ranger. This engine can trace its lineage back to the Land Rover Discovery 3 and Ford Territory diesel, where it was used in 2.7-liter capacity, and since then via many Land Rover and Range Rover products as a 3.0-liter with single and dual turbocharger induction systems. It was used most recently in the Ford F-150 Power Stroke in a tune very similar to how it appears now in Ranger. That tune gives us 184 kilowatts of power and 600 newton meters of torque, so it's a relatively mild tune considering its capacity, yet it eclipses the 147 kilowatts and 470 newton meters of the 3.2-liter engine it replaces in the Ranger. By far the biggest element the V6 brings to the Ranger and 4x4 UTA category is a level of refinement previously only seen in the soon-to-be superseded Volkswagen Amarok and the departed Mercedes-Benz X350D. The 4x4 UTA pack is mainly powered by inline four-cylinder diesel engines, which are inherently rough-running and noisy in their operation. The V6, on the other hand, is smooth, quiet, and refined when compared to the 4-pots, and delivers its performance in a more relaxed and well-mannered fashion. The best of the four-cylinder UTA engines, including Ford's own biturbo 2.0-liter and Toyota's 2.8-liter, is found in the HiLux. make a healthy 500 Newton meters of torque but need to be worked hard to achieve that, and this is where they are rough and raucous. The design and capacity of the 3.0L V6 engine means that it doesn't suffer anywhere near the noise and vibration of the inline fours. On the road and tracks, the V6 delivers its grunt seamlessly through Ford's 10-speed automatic transmission, which has been heavily revised for this new application. The transmission doesn't exhibit any of the hesitancy or indecision of the previous generation of this same transmission as found in the PX series Rangers, and performs faultlessly on highways and secondary roads. Toyota HiLux SR5 Premium. While the Ranger's lineage is a bit harder to trace via its collaborations with Mazda and other changes over time, the HiLux's is simple. This N80 HiLux is the 8th generation of Toyota's midsize UDA, and over more than 50 years it has developed into one of the world's leading and most recognized vehicles. The 8th Gen HiLux was introduced in 2015, and it was only back in 2020 when it received its latest updates, including the all-important improvements to the 1GD FTV engine, powertrain and performance. The 2020 upgrades to the HiLux range marked a significant improvement to its 2.8-liter diesel engine, notable in its outputs, which jumped up to 500 Newton meters to match Ford's 2.0-liter diesel in the PX2 Ranger. It wasn't just about peak torque for the 1GR engine, as the extensive upgrades improved the engine's performance right through its delivery range, dramatically improving the HiLux's drivability. This was especially true when matched to the 6-speed automatic transmission, where in the past, it had hunted through the gears while trying to find the sweet spot in the engine. There's none of that indecisiveness in the current iteration of the powertrain. The transmission is perfectly matched to the engine's outputs, proving that 6 speeds is enough for any vehicle. The engine is punchy and delivers plenty of grunt, placing it at the pointy end of the 4-cylinder powered 4x4 Utes in terms of performance. While the 4-cylinder engine can't compete with the V6 engine in terms of outright performance, where it really feels old school is in the noise and vibration it transmits to the cabin. This leaves the HiLux, and any other 4-pot powered UDA for that matter, feeling like the light trucks that they really are, while the V6 powered Utes like Ranger and Amarok feel and sound more passenger car-like in the way their engines perform. On-road ride and handling. The Ranger's ladder frame chassis has been made wider for a number of reasons, including fitting the V6 engine up front and widening the wheel track for improved dynamics. Down the track, this wider chassis will also aid fitting EV drivetrains. For now, the 50mm extra width in the wheel track and equal amount added to the length of the wheelbase are felt in the vehicle's stability and ride control. The track width takes the wheels out to the extremes of the body, which benefits both ride and handling, as does moving the rear shock absorbers to the outside of the chassis rails where they have more leverage on the axle. The changes and increased dimensions give the Ranger a more sure-footed and controlled presence on the road, adding to the feeling of it being a bigger truck. The coil front and leaf spring rear suspension feels firm over rough roads, but never jittery or uncomfortable. This is the price you pay in a vehicle designed to carry a ton or tow 3.5 tons. The full-time 4x4 system of the new Ranger is a benefit on rough tracks and wet roads, where it also improves the sure-footedness of the chassis. It's also handy in the suburbs where, on wet roads, part-time systems and 2WD are prone to wheel spin when pulling out into traffic or when towing heaving loads. Off-road. Those chassis modifications also benefit the Ranger off-road, allowing for more articulation of the rear axle to keep the wheels on the ground in uneven terrain. The Ranger has never really suffered in this regard, but it is now better than it was in the outgoing model. The independent front end still suffers a bit and picks up wheels quite easily. For when those tires do lose traction with the terrain, the Ranger has an effective electronic traction control system, ETC, which remains active if and when you engage the standard rear differential lock, RDL. The ETC still isn't as fast in action as the system in the HiLux, which has always been the standard setter. Heading along a rut up a steep, loose surface, the Ranger was more prone to allow the wheel to slip before the ETC would catch it and send the drive where it was most effective. Playing with the drive modes and selecting the mud and ruts setting sharpened up the response of the ETC, but still it wasn't as quick as the Toyotas. This again had me asking why. When you have selected low range and are obviously looking for the best tractive ability that a car can deliver, why the ETC wouldn't automatically go straight to its sharpest and most effective setting? The forward-facing and 360-degree cameras available on the Ranger Sport's 10-inch center screen also prove to be a useful aid when driving off-road and maneuvering the car in tight spaces. Cabin and accommodation. Stepping inside the new Ranger, passengers are greeted with an interior that raises the bar in the UTA segment. It's more modern-looking and technically equipped than in the past, with a swag of features that will take some time to adapt to.